Oh,
Hello, guys. Welcome to the Bru-Podcast, episode 4. I'm here with Gus.
Gus. Yeah,
Yeah, it's Gus, guys. It's Gus. So, Gus, how are you?
I'm doing good. Tired. It's a little late.
Yeah, it's a little late, guys. I kind of rushed this podcast, but
It's a little late.
it is what it is. You gotta push through. So, one of the questions. So,
Hmm.
what are your interests in life? Like, what do you really have interest in life?
Probably interest in education, I'd say.
Education.
Like
Like, you want to educate other people?
educate like myself, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Hmm.
What would you say is like your biggest dream? Like let's say you're like in your old ages and you're looking back. What would you want to have accomplished?
Probably like getting into a good uh I'd say yeah, probably get into a good college, I would say.
A good college, okay, that's nice. Do you have like any college in mind? You don't have to say it, but do you're aiming for one of those like Ivy Leagues, or do you want to
Not
say like state
as
based?
much as I'd like to go to the Ivy League. Uh I haven't researched any college in particular. So, no, not really.
Yeah, I mean, soon we have to look into that.
Very soon. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes.
Mhm.
Do you think everyone should be involved in a religion?
Well, that's a personal choice, really. It's not really what do you say? It's not really something for me to comment on, but really, not everyone has to participate in a religion. That's your choice. So,
Okay, I mean that makes sense. People are different, so do you think religion like shapes a man's character, or is it like, just a person's character like in general?
religion does shape your character, but so do a lot of other things, like how you're raised, or how you're raised, how your environment is. A lot of factors go into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that religion, it kind of gives you like those morals to live by. Like it just yeah, I think religion is, in my opinion, I think people should be involved in it, but people think differently.
Mm.
So you're very big on education, right? You're very big on that education.
Somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's like your favorite school subject? Like it's not like the one that you had like the highest grade in, but the one that you're like, I can do this. Like I can really like I really like to do this.
For me personally, there's not really a specific subject because as much as I want to be scholarly, I'm not too scholarly at the moment, but
Okay.
I do have an interest in like mathematics, I guess, even though I do want to be like involved in like science and stuff because I want to be a doctor. Or
Mm,
I would like that's the career I'm going to pursue. So, but
you,
mathematics, calculus is a big one.
yeah, I mean, people struggle with math. At least like some people just don't find it easy to do it.
And
Um,
it's really not easy.
yeah,
It
it's not
takes a
easy.
lot of work. It takes a lot of work.
And you're talking about being a doctor. Like, what do you, or like, do you have a specific like it's like there's many type of doctors, right?
Yeah, like a
Do you have
specific
one in mind?
profession.
Yeah.
Uh, probably somewhere in the cardiovascular field, which is like the heart, pertaining to the
Mm,
heart, or like where the blood is, basically.
okay. Okay. So if you had like almighty power, like you just had all the power in the world,
If I had all the power in the world,
yeah, what is one thing you would change in the world?
that's a hard question. That's a very hard question. I have to think about that one. It would probably be peace, like world peace. As much
Yeah.
as there are other problems in the world, like world hunger, economic disparity, like other problems in the world, having peace and togetherness, like a cooperative sense in the world, I think would be beneficial to like help all his problems.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree. And I think it makes the world a way safer place. We can actually all start agreeing. We can agree more. I mean, honestly, sometimes disagreeing is pretty good, but we disagree too much, and it causes war, fights, enemies. I agree with you. Okay, so do you believe in love at first sight? Do you believe in if I'm just walking down the street, or I'm walking down in like my work building, and I see a lady, or okay, if you're a lady and you see a man and you just think they're very attractive, and you're like, that's the one I'm gonna marry. Do you think that exists?
Personally, not really,
You don't think so?
because there are a lot of people out there, good people, that you could have love at first sight. That's always a possible. You can. It's always a possibility, but you really do have to know a person to get to love them. Really.
Yeah, you have to get to know them personally, like know their personality.
Mhm.
But just some people and some people just see somebody, and they end up marrying them. Like it's like same thing with my parents. They said they saw each other, and then they instantly loved each other. Well, I don't know, something like that, but
Right. Uh,
they're married. So
I know people do that. I think that happened also with my parents. It was love at first sight. I think it was a party, and then they got married.
yeah, my parents were. It was like at a they worked in the same building.
Mm.
Um, and my dad was actually my mom's manager. So
Oh,
able. I mean, so for some people it's true. I believe in it. Um, Obviously, I think to know them, like you said, I think it's to know them, but I believe in it.
mm.
So, if you were rich, what would you do with the money?
If I was rich, I'd probably donate most of my money, truly,
That was
because
part of the question. You answered it.
because really, I wouldn't donate it all. Of course, I would want financial stability for my family, for my loved ones, of course, but I would donate a lot of it to more charitable causes because not every you don't need a large life of luxury. You really don't. And
Yeah, I know, and that's good. That speaks on your character. That speaks that you take other people into consideration. You take the world into consideration. That's good. I mean, you would donate to what, like a hospitals, or like little, you would found like fund something, or
probably uh, there's there'd be a lot of things in particular, but in particular probably be I'd say medical research. There's a lot of people who die on a regular basis due to things that out of their control, right?
yeah, that's true. That's true. So we're almost done. Do you speak any other languages? Like
Yes,
we
I
know,
do.
obviously, which ones? Which
Yeah,
ones?
I speak Spanish.
Hmm.
I would say fluently, but I not too fluently. I don't have the pronunciations now, but and a little bit of French. I can understand French, but
But like, if you were to go to France, what do you think you'd be confident going to like a bakery, and you say, I mean, I want to order this, and then you can understand what the person is saying to you back. Like, would you be that confident?
no, not at all. No, no. At this point, no, because I'm only like 2 years into learning the language. About
And you're not really like really grinding on the language, right? It's like a little side thing, right?
not really. Yeah, it's more of a side thing. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's good. Well, you're learning a new language. Many people aren't willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So now down to the last two. You already kind of spoke on this, but the importance of education. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think the education system, at least in the U.S., it's different in different places, in
Right.
different countries? Do you think it's where it should be? Like, do you think the U.S. education system it's a good like example for other countries to look at, or you think it's like, it's kind of weak?
It's absolutely, in my opinion, it's absolutely not because of a lot of the you know United States policies, especially into uh, the new president. I'm
Mm,
not going to comment my own opinions because but especially with his policies it's definitely getting into a worse place. But even before his policies, it's not in a very good place. There could be more done because there's a lot of teacher layoffs nationwide, and a lot of schools just not having the proper funding or not having the proper education system to foster our new generation. So definitely no.
Yeah, because, or just like when I was just talking about education in general. I mean, I don't really mean like academic grades, like your performances, but I'm just saying, I think every kid deserves to be educated to a certain level.
Yeah.
100%. You have to be educated properly. I think just in order to live life properly, you know.
Definitely.
Okay. And last question: do you think academic performance speaks a lot about your character?
Let me think about that one because it's a good question. That's a good question. Uh, at the end of the day, not really, because people are very different people.
Mm,
So it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when you graduate or when you get into college, and when you get into college, when you go, after college, once you're an adult, right? Nobody asks you for your GPA. Nobody asks you what was your GPA back then, or
yeah, that's true.
what was your how many like do you have honor roll back then? Of course, I'm not an honor roll student. I wouldn't know, but uh, you know that definitely depends on the. Or, no, it doesn't depend. Grades aren't a point character. It's what the people are or what people are. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I think if I see a kid that has C's, D's and F's and stuff like that gets consistently, was some people just get like an F on a test here and there, but like we're talking about consistently just gets F's, 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 and D's. I still wouldn't count them out. Like I still wouldn't think this kid's stupid. Like I mean, it might just speak on their maturity. Like am I just saying they're not super mature? So like I mean maybe they're not like thinking of like the future. They're not thinking about college and stuff like that. Maybe they're just rich and they just know that whether or not what happens they're gonna have that money. So but I think it's based on maturity.
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I can see how you think. Yeah, I can see how someone could think that, and that is true. Sometimes grades can be a indicator of personality and who you are, but at the same time, there's a lot more to a person than grades, right?
Yeah, true. Well, that was a little short and sweet episode
Sure one. Yeah.
of the Brew podcast. This is episode 4. I think I'm gonna upload like an episode 3 real quick, and then I'll upload this one next.
Yeah.
Just let it heat up. Let it
Right.
let it get into the algorithm, and then um yeah, this is a fun little podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you Gus for
Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button.
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Thank you Gus for getting on the podcast.
Yeah. No problem.
You gave me good answers. You gave me some very good answers, very interesting answers. It speaks a lot about your character. That's good.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No problem, man. No problem. Have a good one.
Yeah.